the Balls podcast
with Mark Davis, Kriska Meinhardt, Ruth Rule, Jake Winnikine, Alan Tomasella, and Nick the Doc Skirkle. Good evening. It is Monday, June 10th, 2024, on another episode of All About the Balls podcast. And this time it's another weekly episode of our NFL division breakdown. And I think it's going to be an exciting one because this is the second most exciting division, in my opinion, outside my own division. So we had the AFC North last week. This week it's the NFC North. So the Chicago Bears, Minnesota Vikings, Detroit Lions, and Green Bay Packers are on the docket for tonight. And I was hoping that Chris was going to be in here to start us off, but we have Doc in here, Alan Tomasella's in here, and of course, like I said, Chris will be joining us very soon. It sounded like he was setting his equipment up, wasn't completely ready. But Alan, how are you doing, man? Tonight, I know you only have a couple weeks left. NFC North on the docket tonight.
Yeah, man. I'm just days are getting short, man. I'm running through. We got a lot of things to do. My car just went down this weekend, man, so it's not looking great. I got to get a new alternator, I think. And then find out today that the Lakers are just packing it in. I don't know what's going on with them. Sell the team, Genie Bus. Fire Palinka. I'm tired of these asshats trying to run my team. All right, they're screwing it up. But other than that, man, I am excited about the teams that we have on today. I mean, it's a lot of really good teams. I think this is going to be an exciting division, so I'm pretty excited for it.
Chris, this is your first episode here for the division breakdown. Last year, you were pretty much here all hands on deck. I know you're getting ready to do your new adventure, so you have 2 episodes in you before you head out for probably a month or so. But how are you doing, man? How's it been?
Yeah, I mean, life's been crazy. Me and Paige trying to pack up this house, move out to OH, IO, exactly.
I'm glad they could spell their own state though. It's a pretty hard state to spell.
Exactly. So I mean, just running around, post trying to clear. It's been crazy.
And Doc, this is your division. I know we're going to start off hot with the Bears. You're probably the first one to speak about it, but how are you feeling as we're about to cover your division, the NFC North?
Feeling good, man. Feeling good. Just staying busy, kids, work. Just living my best life.
Hey, hang in there because I'm going to be there in about a month and a half. So I'll see you. See you in about 6 weeks or so, 7 weeks.
We are ready for you.
Yeah, that's where I'm going to be sleeping. Actually, right there, right where that couch is at. That's my spot for the week I'm there. So no, I'm excited to be here. Like I said to Alan, we're talking after the basketball episode. This is one of my favorite divisions. I'm a closet Lions fan for the year. Moved on from my closet Bills time because I'd like to see. I wouldn't mind seeing Josh Allen do good, but I like this Lions team. And anyone that's listening out there, please give us a follow. Please give us a heart. Give us a subscribe. Anything you want to do. I know we're on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, or Twitter. But make your way to fucking YouTube and get us some likes there. Get us some views there. But let's jump into it, Doc and Chris and Alan. But we're going to talk the Chicago Bears first. Technically, they were tied with the Vikings, but based on tiebreakers, somehow they were the last place team. And let's run through the offseason real quick. They moved Justin Fields off to Pittsburgh. They draft Caleb Williams with the first pick that they got from the Carolina Panthers. They also drafted Roman Duze with the 9th pick. And on top of that, that's now a trio because they did trade for Keenan Allen from the Chargers. They got DeAndre Swift from the Eagles and Gerald Everett from the Chargers to pair with Cole Kmet. So it seems like the offense is there on paper, even with Caleb Williams, a rookie. And then the defense got better last year when they traded for Montez Sweat. They were literally averaging 17.9 points in 9 games with Montez Sweat. The defense was a total switch, total 180, and they were one of the top defenses when it happened. So, Doc, honestly, hate to say it, ask the question, is it a playoff situation or is it a failed season? Because I feel it's playoffs or failure for 2024. Just make the playoffs, is all I'm saying.
No, it's definitely not a failure if they don't make the playoffs. I mean, you're bringing in a rookie quarterback coming out of college who I think had a down year at USC, putting him in a different tempo, different speed of the game, whole new team. I'm very excited for this team. I'm freaking pumped for Caleb Williams now because I have to be. I don't have a choice. So I got to get excited for him. But for me, I don't think it's a failed season. I mean, this division is absolutely one they can run away with. The Lions are the only team that they really have to compete with, in my opinion. So, I mean, the opportunity is definitely there to make this a playoff team, but it's not a failure if they don't make it. I want to see an above 500 record. That's what I want to see. I think that's a good first step for a rookie quarterback.
I feel if you don't make it, it is because we've seen these rookie quarterbacks come in like C.J. Stroud, Andrew Luck, RG3, even Cam Newton didn't make it, but he had a hell of a year. They didn't have the weapons that Chicago Bears have. Like, and that's if they didn't go get if they didn't have Keenan Allen and DeAndre Swift, okay, then I can say with DJ Moore. I mean, if you get 8 wins, whatever. But if Justin Fields can get 7 wins and Tyson Bagent and Shane Waldron's, it's coordinator, so you have a decent play caller there. I just feel like you have to at least be a wild card team. I'm not saying go win a playoff game. Just make it.
You know what? I'm going to change my stance. I'm with you. You made a lot of good points. You sold me on my own team to make it to the playoffs. So I'm right there with you, man. Playoffs are bust.
Yeah. Playoffs are bust. That's all I do. I study.
Oh, I know. I remember seeing your screens.
Yeah.
I remember coming to your office. Falcons schedule up on every monitor.
That's all I did today. I was just making fucking notes.
Look at that fucking 10-year-old handwriting.
Hey, man. Hey, doctors. Hey, doctor handwriting, dude. Fuck, chicken scratch is all they have.
No, but dude, I'm extremely excited for this team. The only thing that I think we're missing, I would have liked to see Justin Fields because I think that now that he finally has a team and he has protections and he's got weapons, I mean, I think that this could have been a different kind of Justin Fields, and now he's just going to be in the shadows behind a terrible Russell Wilson, in my opinion. But very excited for the moves the Bears made in the offseason. Starting with the draft, Caleb Williams, like I said, I don't really have a choice but to be excited for him. Roma Dunze, I was so happy to take a receiver 9. So happy that one of the top 3 fell down there. This resets the market. DJ Moore's got 1 more year after this season. Keenan Allen's on a contract year. I think that this season is going to set the tone for the veterans and re-signing. I don't know if Keenan Allen's coming back anyway. It's going to depend on the money that he's demanding because with his age and everything, I don't think that you're going into a long-term contract with paying over $20 million a year for him. But offensive lineman out of Yale, the punter from Iowa. I mean, a couple of questionable, but I like the edge of Austin Booker out of Kansas.
You can say what you want. Hey, Chris. I mean, it's best punter. I mean, if you're not going to score,
I'm not arguing best punter, but what kind of mindset are we going into this year if we took a punter 4th round in the draft? Like, hey guys, we're going to need one of these.
Just be the best.
You see who we took 1st overall? We're going to need a punter.
It's to be the best at every position, though.
I mean, that was one of my things about the Bears. Looking today of the offseason is like going to the draft. They only had 4 draft picks, so I mean, it would have definitely been would have been nice to see them trade back from that 9 spot. You already have Keenan Allen, you have DJ Moore, but I mean, I get getting that flash wide receiver to pair with your rookie quarterback, but I mean, trade back, get some more draft stock,
I think that's the problem is the Bears are not in I'm not saying not going to be kind of shy with it. They kind of are in win now mode. I mean, I get
really are.
Caleb
Williams
the coach is the coach definitely needs to be. But I get it. I get it. You have Caleb Williams as a rookie, but Mark Sanchez, not saying he had a great rookie season. He led the Jets to the AFC Championship. I get it. They had a great defense, and they had some decent weapons at their age. But Caleb Williams has that. The defense might not be the New York Jets defense of Rex Ryan. But like I said, when Montez Sweat came in, you kept Jalen Johnson. You have a decent corner position. Safety's not that bad neither out there with their tandem. It's not the Jets defense, but it's a good enough defense where they can keep the Bears in games on that side of the field with this electric offense on paper.
Well, that's the thing. For me, I look at this team and it is win now. Like you've got to go into the playoffs and you've got to win a playoff game. I know that's a big stretch to say for a rookie quarterback, but I don't think we can look in the history of the NFL where a team has made this many moves to set up an offense around a star quarterback. We were all talking about Caleb Williams last year. We were talking about him this year coming out. Everybody has him as one of the most prolific passers coming out of college. I think that, yeah, I mean, it's been a while. No, but
everything's 10 years, by the way, with this draft class. We'll talk about that in the last episode.
This draft class.
But, they've got to come out and they've got to win. I think that the schedule favors them. They do go up against some really easy teams. They've got London games. We know how those are, but that London game is against the Jags, and we all know the Jags win in London, so that one's going to be a tough one. But other than that, I mean, they do have some tough games against teams teams from other divisions. Obviously, they're going up against the NFC North is going against the NFC West this year. So a couple easy games in there, but then you've also got the Niners. They're playing at the Niners. They've got a really tough stretch, I think, in the end of the season. You've got Lions on Thanksgiving, then at Niners.
Even at Vikings too, because it's a division game.
It's a division game, and it's on a Monday night football game. So
I think that end of
right
November
after that, you got Lions.
End of November and December is just that, and that's where I think the Bears going into Thanksgiving is honestly they're neck and neck with Detroit. I think honestly Chicago's raising eyebrows, like man, Chicago's up there. I think then when that Thanksgiving game hits, I think they'll split with Detroit. They'll sneak the one in December, but that's where the Bears kind of fall back to the wild card spot is December.
Yeah, I mean
Wild take. You heard it here first. Or what do we call it, Chris?
I don't know. What do we call it?
I don't even know what take we're going to.
I know.
Anyways,
what are we calling it?
No. Anyways,
Mark, cue
Caleb
the
Williams.
sound.
Caleb Williams.
Wait, Doc. I have a sound. Let me get it ready, man. You know.
Okay, wait, what? That's the draft.
Hot take. First rookie quarterback.
Come on, Doc, say it. This is your music.
I just said it. Caleb Williams, first rookie quarterback to win a Super Bowl.
Also, another hot take: Caleb Williams be the first Bears quarterback this year to throw 4,000 yards in a season.
I can see that one.
It's definitely set up.
That's not even a hot take. That's just a take.
He's winning Rookie of the Year. And I've said it, like, I think other quarterbacks, because we say about the Niners, like, I feel like you throw any quarterback in this situation, they should thrive. Now, that's not a knock at Caleb Williams. It's just that's how good I think the Bears are around the quarterback position. I think Jayden Daniels could do good here, maybe Drake May. But, like, Alan, you were talking about teams getting set up. The Niners set up Brock Purdy perfectly, but they weren't doing this to set up Brock Purdy. They were doing this to set up Trey Lance.
Yeah, exactly.
So, like, the fact that Brock Purdy came in, like another rookie that came into a great situation, I mean, it fell into his lap because, guys got hurt. But Caleb, I mean, I get it. The media is also trying to portray him as a guy that's not that good. I saw a pass today to fucking Keenan Allen, and they said, look, the caption was Keenan Allen, like, was pissed. But, like, there was no fucking media. You couldn't hear what Keenan Allen said. He just shook his head. He could have shook his head in, like, belief that, okay, this is a great throw. Like, we don't know what actually happened there.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the news?
I think it was
Chris, by the way, Tony.
I think he was mad. He was pissed about the lob throw.
Yeah, I mean, like I was going over with the schedule, they've got really easy games. You start off with the Titans. They got the Panthers in there. They've got Commanders, Cardinals, Patriots, Vikings all through week 12. I think if they can go into week 12 with and this is going to be a stretch, but if they can win 8 games in the first 12 weeks, I think that they can be in the competition for the division, and then that last stretch is just going to be really tough for them. But if they get on a roll and they start making getting that really good chemistry, I think that they can win some of those tougher games, and that'll set them up later in the year once we get into playoff season.
I have them 10-2 going into. Oh, I'm sorry, I have them as 9-2 going into that Thanksgiving game. I honestly think that. I think they're going to lose to Houston, and that's going to be a fun game to watch. Now, Tennessee's surprising, Tennessee's surprising because it's a lot of new stuff there as well. But I think that they lose to the Rams and they lose to the Texans, and I think even London. I think they go into London and then they win. But I think they're 11-2 going into Thanksgiving, and then they start to lose to the Lions, to the Niners, and possibly to the Vikings and Packers right there. And maybe they beat the Vikings and they lose the Packers. That's still 12-5. 11-6, 12-5. That's still a solid record for that's a double-digit win season. You're a wild card spot. You're going on the road, but you make the playoffs.
Yeah,
I have them losing to the Jags and beating the Rams.
Okay, so you just flip them.
Either way, but
I think the Rams are in trouble.
I think that they can be a team that wins a playoff game this year, and that's why, to me, I think that it's a failed season, not a failed season, but it doesn't meet expectations if they lose a playoff game. Like, they got to get in, win the playoffs.
I don't think they'll win a playoff game.
I don't know about winning, but I think Mark's onto it. With the weapons around this team, especially, like I said, Keenan Allen being on a contract year. DJ Moore is going to be on a contract year next year. So if this team comes severely under 500, like DJ Moore is going to check out. He's going to be done. he's not coming back after next year. There is a lot of good things that need to happen for these guys to want to stay. Edmonds, I think, is like the linebackers. I think are coming up on their third or fourth year of their deals.
Second.
Last year was
last year. Yeah, last year was their first.
How
Wow.
much?
TJ Edwards and Edmonds. Remember, that was the hype. That was the hype last year where we thought that because Luke, I think a couple of you guys had the Bears.
They played phenomenally. Yeah, they paid. The defense. I mean, it obviously got better with Sweat. Our issue was the offense staying in the game, but the linebacker core played phenomenally last year.
What type of leash do you guys think that Eberflus has? Because if you guys come out and you're under 500 going into week 12, do you think that he gets fired in the middle of the season?
No.
I think they finished up. The problem is
because I don't think. I mean, if they have a
don't want to go back into that fucking. Well, now we have a new head coach with a quarterback we didn't draft. Now you're back in that fucking window.
Yeah, if the Bears are like in a position to make the playoffs, no, I mean if we're talking like 0-12 going into that game, like okay, I mean if we're 0-6, we're talking about that, but I don't think it's going to happen. This defense is too good. This offense has too much upside. I don't see it happening. And worst case scenario, finish out the season because you're kind of in that spot where it's playoff or bust. So for bust, just finish the season and find a new coach in the offseason. I
will agree with Alan to a point. If the Bears win the division, or like let's say they go 11-6, 12-5, and they're playing a week 4 seed, whoever the weakest 4, the division winner is at 4, that maybe are 10-7. Okay, now the pressure's there. Maybe you should win a playoff game. But if you are playing a solid 4 seed or a solid 3 seed, okay, then so like we want you to win. But there's not as much pressure as if you're the favorite team going in. Now, if you're hosting a playoff game, you're 12-5, and you somehow upset the Lions and win the division. Okay, there's pressure now to win it because you put yourself in that position. But and that's a good thing. It's a good thing though. It's good pressure.
It is. I mean, it's still a different atmosphere and a different environment for a playoff game. But yeah, no. I mean, if you've got home field, fans rallying behind you, and the team has been gelling all year, there's no reason to come out. If you're 12-5, there's no reason to come out and shit the bed and get absolutely destroyed. I mean, if it's a very close game and a well-played game offensively and defensively, I mean, sometimes you just get outplayed. You know what I mean? There's nothing you can do about that. But if you just come out flat and you're like 10 of 35 throwing or 10 of 27 for like 90 yards, that's a different conversation.
And this arguably is the best duo at wide receivers. I mean, you can make an argument Chase Higgins, you can make an argument for Hill and Jalen Waddle. This trio, if Roman Duz is going to be the guy we think it is, I mean, this could be the best trio in the NFL. I don't know which trio. I mean, unless Hopkins, Boyd, and Ridley honestly ball out, I think that's it's a sneaky duo. But this duo though is legit, Chris.
Yeah, no, I mean, we saw what Keenan Allen could do last year, and then we saw what DJ Moore could do, and then you add the deep threat in Odunze. I mean, I think there's going to be a lot of pressure for Caleb. I think it's going to be a lot of pressure for him. And I agree, like, he does have pretty easy schedule. I mean, the hardest defense he's going to face is like week 2 with the Texans and then week 12 against the Lions. So, I mean, he has a good schedule, good favorable schedule to get into rhythm.
Here's a question,
I saw them going 9-8, though.
If he doesn't come out swinging, I mean, is the maturity there to maintain his composure and maintain the professionalism to get back on the horse and continue to play, or does he just spiral downhill?
Well, it's going to all.
We saw a lot of maturity issues in the offseason after that last college season.
Well, it's different. Now you're in the NFL. You're playing professionals, so it's a little different than playing with. I get it. They had Brendan Rice, and he had the fortune of playing with who was the USC receiver that was hot? Jordan Addison last year and 2 years ago in college. So but it's different now. I mean, you're in a professional ball game.
That's where you've got to be able to. That's where you got to be able to step back and go, hey, this is the NFL.
I do think that he is benefiting from the fact that there are veterans on that team. There are guys that have been around winning organizations. You brought in Keenan Allen. DJ Moore is a really good player. You've got DeAndre Swift, who has also been on good teams. Like, you went out and you got guys. You went out and you got guys that are veterans in this league that can be a leadership presence in that locker room. And he doesn't have to be that guy. He doesn't have to be the veteran. And what we've seen so far during the preseason and OTAs and all that stuff, he's not coming out and trying to establish himself as the number one leader on the team. He's trying to fit the role and do what he has to do. And I think that that's going to benefit them going into this year. If he has a down game, I expect him to bounce back in the next game. I don't think he's going to spiral. Maybe he has a game where he throws, like 3 picks because he's trying to do too much. But I just don't see that as something that he's gonna spiral into. I think he's got a lot of guys that are around him that are gonna keep him up, and he doesn't have to be that voice.
And if he does have a spiral event, it's also on not just the players but Uberflus and Shane Waldron. It's up to those two to also get his head back into the game, especially Shane Waldron, who's his offensive coordinator, and he's going to be the play caller for the offense. The head coach is defensive minded, so yeah, he'll still pay attention to his guy, but it's also on Shane Waldron, who had to deal with Russell Wilson. So, I mean, it's not like he hasn't dealt with fucking egotistical quarterbacks. I mean, Russell's pretty egotistical. So, I mean, he's got the history of dealing with it and helping with it. Because Shane Waldron and Russell were pretty good together. They honestly were. So, I think Caleb will be fine. I think Rookie of the Year, he's going to win it. I mean, I'm calling it now. When we do our awards, I know we're going to do it later on in the summer. He's my Rookie of the Year. It's the favorite. It's the boring pick. I know Jake won't do it because he's going to go against everyone else. But he's my Rookie of the Year.
Tony, are you saying they lose 5 to 6 games in the upcoming season?
I think he's saying that they're going to find a way to lose that, plus probably games that they're going to lose just to superior teams.
That's what I'm trying to clarify, because that's.
Well, I mean, if he just thinks 5 to 6, that's still good. That's still playoffs.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, you don't find a way to lose 5-6 games a year. There's only a handful of teams that can.
Yes, to what, Tony? Like we asked which one.
I think what he means is that they're going to find a way to lose 5 or 6 games and lose games to superior teams.
Okay. Well, let's go over the over/under. I know Vegas had 8.5, but I wanted to be a little more respectful for the Bears. I went 9.5 because they went 7-10 with Justin Fields. I think that is it double digits or is it less? Because 9-8 doesn't guarantee you a spot in the playoffs. So let's go 9.5 for over/under for the Chicago Bears. And I think over. I already said it. I think it's an 11-win team. I think they can get 12, but I'm going to stay around 11. And I wouldn't surprise me if 10 hits, but I have double digits for this team. I think they're a playoff team. Obviously, I'm high on the line, so I won't have them winning the division. But it wouldn't surprise me if the Chicago Bears win the division. I just don't believe it with Detroit doing what they're doing. So I have Chicago, double digits, but wild card team.
Yeah, I'm the same. I got this early schedule, really kind of that middle of the stretch schedule right before going into Thanksgiving week. You've got the Commanders, Cardinals, Patriots, Packers at home, Vikings at home. Packers, I think it's going to be a split with the Packers this year. I want to say it's going to be a clean sweep of the Vikings. Sorry, Riz. Vikings suck, dude. I don't know what to tell you.
Their quarterback problem. We're going to talk about them soon. It's just
My only real toss-up is the Titans week 1, because it is week 1, Caleb Williams coming out. How's he going to do? And I think they kind of tighten it down. I mean, I'm counting the Texans as a loss, but then I think going into Indianapolis, no big deal. I'm taking them at home. So yeah, I'm taking the over on that. I'm gonna say 10 or 11.
Yeah, I'm going over 9.5. I'm somewhere where Mark is. I've got him at 11 or 12 wins. I just think that the schedule for them it's the 3rd easiest strength of schedule in the entire NFL. I know strength of schedule. We don't, Mark doesn't believe in it very much. I know that there's turnover. I still think that they've got too many cakewalk games in here, and they may try to lose those games. I still have them winning. I think that they're going to win 9, maybe 10. I know you guys said 10. I think it's going to be closer to 8 or 9 games before they get into week 12. And I think that they can pull away, especially if they're in rhythm, got chemistry. That the rookie quarterbacks get better with time, get better with reps. They get better with the speed of the game. And I've got them finishing 11 or 12 wins.
He's not going to come out flat, Tony. He's not going to come out flat. He's going to come out, I think, trying to do too much. That's what I think it's going to be. I agree. I can see the bad season, but it's not going to be that he's flat. It's just going to be that he's trying to do too much, and we've seen that all too much from other quarterbacks.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm going to be the lone wolf here. I'm going to go under. I think they're going to come out 9-8. We all said that this is going to be they need to make the playoffs. This is a win now. I think it's going to be too much pressure for Caleb. I mean, this isn't a fucking Pac-12 defense he's going against. He can't sit in the pocket and go to his third read and throw the ball. I mean, these guys are, they might not be good defenses, but they're still the 1% that made it to the NFL.
Chris.
I know you're mad at me, but hey, I think the
Mark,
Bears are
Mark, I had the Saints, by the way. I know we did the division. I had the Saints going 0-17.
Okay. You can't look. Doc, you can be mad at me. I think the Bears are going to be a good team eventually.
I agree.
The year.
No, there's a lot of question marks.
Well,
even with the guys that got around him, the pressure coming in on this quarterback to come out strong. And early on, I mean, the games are there for them to win early on, but it doesn't mean it's automatically going to happen. You know what I mean? So,
I mean, we saw what CJ Stroud did last year, but everybody in here can say that nobody expected Houston to do what they did. There was no pressure on CJ Stroud to come out and ball out the way he did.
Well, and part of the reason why the Texans, we weren't expecting it was because DeMarcus Ware was a first-time coach. And you know, that brought a whole new energy to the team. You know, they didn't win those games, all of those games, because of CJ Stroud. They won those games because that defense was really good, and CJ Stroud had games where he left his mark on them. But I know that team overperformed because of the entire energy that they had around him because of DeMarcus Ware. I will say that.
D'Amico Ryan.
Oh, D'Amico Ryans. I'm sorry, not DeMarcus Ware.
Wrong Texan. wrong Dallas guy. Or But anyways, 9-8 still not a bad. It can still be a playoff team. It honestly can. I mean, 9-8 got the Packers in the playoffs last year, so it can happen. It's just I don't know if 9 this year gets, because the NFC I think is slowly getting a little better. Honestly,
no, they are.
But we talked Bears. I mean, I knew this was going to be a big one because I think this next one's not going to be as quick. Let's talk
a minute. Some breaking news in the middle of this real quick.
Sure, go ahead, Doc.
Yeah, a couple things. I don't know if y'all saw. I just saw it on ESPN, but Mike Tomlin got extended to 2025 or 2027. But rip to the legendary career of Darren Waller, dude. I was so sad to see that Darren Waller announced his retirement. I don't know what I'm going to do for those 7 to 9 games that I set aside to watch to see Waller step onto the field and play a football game. It's going to free up a lot of Sundays. But I am gonna miss seeing that guy play.
I know what you can do. You can listen to his new rap album he's coming out with.
He's doing pretty good.
It's probably better than his career. He's probably got more time on the field with the rap career than his football career.
Kelsey Plum's checking out that rap album. Yeah,
I was watching his music video.
Well, anyways, let's move on to the Minnesota Vikings, a team that was 7-10 with the Chicago Bears. And last year they were 4-4 going out of, I think, week 8. Kirk Cousins tears Achilles, and they were in a playoff spot. Unfortunate it happened. I think if Kirk Cousins finishes the season, I think Green Bay's out of the playoffs, and I think Kirk Cousins and the Vikings make it. That's no here or there, but obviously Kirk Cousins is gone. He went to Atlanta. He's no longer a Viking. His little tenure's gone there. Step in Sam Darnold. They sign him for a year, $10 million, and of course they go get J.J. McCarthy, the University of Michigan's quarterback that just won the national championship, the heartbeat of that team, mind you guys. And then they do go get Dallas Turner, one of the best pass rushers in the draft. So they made some moves at defense for Brian Flores. So the question is, boys, can Kevin O'Connell muster up some magic? Because he's pretty good with the quarterback position. Can he muster up that magic with Sam Darnold or J.J. McCarthy and lead this team into the playoffs somehow?
I mean, if you start Sam Darnold, which is a very good chance of happening, go ahead and chalk up 0-17.
He's taking majority. He's already taken majority of the snaps.
Go ahead and chalk up a losing season.
Sam Darnold hasn't.
It's a tough stretch for them, man. Like, you look at their schedule, and I don't know how these two teams finished with the same record, yet the Vikings have the 28th strength of schedule. Like, it's one of the worst in the entire league. And it's definitely tough. I mean, they don't have those games with the Commanders. They don't have the games against the Patriots. They don't have those easy schedules, those easy games. And
they drew the Jets too, by the way.
I just can't see them going out and doing what they do. I mean, I don't see them coming out of the first 12 games winning. I just don't. In the first 12 games, I don't see them winning 2 games.
So let's talk about something real quick.
I can see maybe beating the Jaguars. Honestly,
let's talk about something real quick.
Jaguars we're going to get. That's the thing.
Let's talk about the schedule real quick, okay? Because you said no Commanders, you said no Patriots. All right. Either one of those, clean match with the Giants on week 1. So let's relax on. I don't know how their strength of schedule is 28 because the only difference really is the Jets. And I don't think the Jets puts them from a bottom or a top 3 to a bottom 3, bottom 4 that easily. So I don't know.
Based on record, but they do based on record because that's last year's Jets.
Yeah, I mean, they also have the Falcons. They also got to go up against the Falcons. Kirk Cousins' revenge game. And I think that the Falcons are obviously going to be a better team. I don't. It's a really tough schedule for them, man. And they're not a good team. That team was not a quarterback away from being competitive. I don't think that they were going to win a Super Bowl. Their defense lost pieces. They traded away guys.
This year, this team, honestly, I'm not saying to win the Super Bowl, but this team honestly is a good quarterback away from making the playoffs. I think with Justin Jefferson, who's locked up long-term now, Jordan Addison, hopefully T.J. Hawkinson comes back healthy. It was a late injury, but if he comes back healthy, you do have Aaron Jones.
Are there.
And Chandler's not bad as a back. Offensive line, and they didn't do anything for their offensive line.
Their offensive line was not bad last year, honestly. It was not bad.
Yeah, the offensive line was not the problem.
Yeah, and the offensive line actually was one of the better years. Kirk just had a freak injury. That wasn't normally he does get beat up. I'll give you that, but this line, honestly, Darrisaw is one of the best left tackles in the game. Garrett Bradbury's a pretty good center. Dalton Reisner's not that bad, and Ed Ingram's not bad. The right tackle, we'll see what Brian O'Neill's going to be, but I just don't. I don't think the low line's bad. And honestly, back to Sam Darnold, I gave Baker shit because he came into a bad situation. Ask Chris, he'll tell you. I gave him shit for Carolina, and I gave him some shit for the Rams because he came into a situation that the Rams were not ready yet at that time. They were doing all the turnover. But we've not seen Sam Darnold play on a good team. The Jets and the Panthers were a shit show. We'll be honest there. Now, he didn't play with the Niners. I mean, he got some fucking one good fucking game whenever the Niners had everything wrapped up. But we have not seen Sam Darnold play with talent at this level yet. Now, I'm not saying he's going to go out and light it up. But if this team can get a quarterback that can just throw 25 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, that might be good enough just to sneak into the playoffs with the talent they have.
Well, that's your hard part with Sam Darnold. But
he hasn't been on a team that has this much talent. That's the thing. It's now we're going to see now if Sam Darnold can't make this work, then he doesn't deserve a job anywhere.
No, I think the offense potential is there. The question mark is definitely lying in the defense. Dallas Turner, huge edge rusher coming off the line. But other than that, I mean, they lost a lot of pieces, like Alan said. And their defense was not that great to begin with last year.
Yeah.
And they lost Daniel Hunter.
The thing is,
it was bad the last month.
But you know what? The other thing is that their home games this year against non-division teams are all the best teams in the league. The Niners, Texans.
Didn't they beat the Niners last year?
They did. That was
Kirk Cousins with Kirk Cousins,
and that was the Purdy concussion game that they didn't call. But I mean, Lions at home, obviously that one's but Falcons at home, like all of these teams are like really good teams in the league, and they're their home games. You would think that they would be able to win some of those home games, but against this competition and their level of play, the players that they have, I just don't see them winning those games, and that's just going to make it tough for them because they have a away stretch, a 3-game away stretch that you don't know if they're going to win those games either. I mean, that makes it tough on them, man.
What were you going to say, Chris?
I mean, I was going to say that they lost both their fucking edges, right?
I think they lost 3 pass rushers.
Well, I mean, they lost Hunter and Onum. They did sign Greener though.
They got Van Geikel as well.
A linebacker.
They got Van Geikel.
Yeah, but Hunter was a big loss.
But Van Geikel was off the edge too, though.
They got Green from the Texans in the trade.
Well, they did bring in Grenard from the Texans. It was just free. It wasn't a trade. It was just
free agency. Okay.
Yeah,
I mean, he's a straight linebacker.
It's so hard to get behind the Vikings just to begin with, like how bad they fumbled the draft. I mean, you draft JJ McCarthy. You made a big splash to get that second first-round pick to maybe trade up to get a
I
quarterback.
can't. I still can't believe they didn't trade up with those two.
I mean, the Patriots must have not wanted to budge. They wanted May. So I mean, I get
Or
that.
Chargers.
You draft JJ McCarthy. I mean, high floor but a very low ceiling with him. Then you move up 6 spots to get Dallas Turner, and what do? You trade your draft stock next year. They have 3 picks next year. 3.
I like that.
1 first round.
I like
They have
that.
1 first round and 2 fifths.
I like that.
I mean, keep in mind they're going to get a third because of Kirk Cousins.
Okay, so yeah, they'll get a third for that.
But still,
and they might give our pick too. Hey, they might give us our. They might give them. I mean, that could be part of the tampering punishment. They might just hand the Vikings. It might because we learned from the Dolphins.
No,
mistake.
they didn't do that last time with the Dolphins. They didn't do that.
But the punishment should get worse. I agree. Punishment should always get worse because you should learn from the guys that made the fucking mistakes before you.
I don't think they're going to give the Vikings your pick.
No,
because the Falcons tampered with Kirk Cousins. They're just going to penalize the Falcons. They're not going to benefit the Vikings because of it.
Kirk was gone anyways. He told him. He met with him. He told him he was gone.
The Vikings.
I got like a 7th round compensation.
He'll be a third. He's gonna be one of the highest compensations because it's a starting quarterback in the league.
No. I'm saying the compensation for the tampering. If you were to get a pick, it would be you ain't getting nothing.
Well, we
value.
ain't losing a 7th rounder. I think Miami lost a first and a mid round, so we're definitely losing a first.
That's what I'm saying though. But a first, like they're not giving a first. Straight away to the Vikings.
I was joking, but I just think this season depends on if Kevin O'Connell can just muster up the magic that he did with Josh Dobbs and whoever else that was back there. And I mean, if Sam Darnold if he's average, I mean, and the defense, I get it. They lost stuff, but the defense wasn't bad until the last month of the season when the season was pretty much done. And it's Brian Flores. I mean, I think he's still a hell of a coordinator. He has a lot of work. To me, it's the corners. The corners suck. The safeties, I get Harrison Smith's older, but he's still solid. The corners, man, they are bad. I mean, at least we don't know what they're going to be. I feel like they're just a bad position group.
I don't think this offense is going to do anything with the quarterback situation. I know you're going to have a big game from JJ, yeah, but you sign Aaron Jones. It's just
we have Chandler as well. Chandler showed some flashes last year at the I think it was Ty Chandler. Yeah, Ty Chandler showed some flashes.
Yeah, but your interior defensive line, which they struggled with last year, you didn't address that situation. Yeah, you signed, what was it? Tillery? I think it is.
Harrison Phillips they brought in too.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, the defensive line is struggling. You already hit it. The cornerbacks.
God, those are bad.
Yeah. I don't see this team being good. And they don't have the offseason next year to be good either.
Shaq Griffin is projected to be their other starter at corner. Next to right now.
That is. I don't even know who that is.
No, he's the UCF. He was decent with the Seahawks back in the day. I think it was the Seahawks and the Jags. But that's the guy with. Remember the other Griffin? He's the one with the one arm or the one hand, whatever. That's his brother, twin brother.
Okay.
But I mean, the safeties are good. Byron Murphy is still pretty decent. But yeah, it's just to me, it's going to be a failure because of Sam Darnold. I mean, I don't know what JJ is going to be, and it just sucks because they're so loaded on offense to me. It's a shame. Kevin O'Connell's going to get fired probably for some shit that he's got to deal with.
I mean, it's going to be the same situation. Sam Darnold's going to go out. They're going to lose games, and you're going to get the pressure of, hey, you made this big splash in the draft to draft this apparently great quarterback, and they're going to want to play him early. And they're going to play him early, and he's going to hand the ball off 50 times to Aaron Jones.
We have a bye week, week 6, so you might see him week 7.
I do think that he gets in early. I think that the pressure is going to get in there, and you're going to see Sam Darnold, especially in that London game against the Jets. You're going to see Sam Darnold with those same ghosts that he got the last time he was in London, and you're going to see JJ McCarthy going early. The Lions are not the greatest team for him to go up against in his first game, but that's what's going to end up happening. And then, you look at the rest of the schedule and you made it past your big home stretches. it's just going to be tough for them. But because of that, I think that Kevin O'Connell is going to make it through the season and be given a chance for next year. Kevin O'Connell is still a good coach, and he's an offensive-minded guy, and I think they have the weapons. What we're just going to see is that their defense isn't going to be able to keep up.
Well, let's go over under, unless you have something to say on if one of y'all was about to tag on. Under 6.5. I mean, respectable 6.5. I'm going under, man. Like, I can see them maybe sneaking 7 because I still think the coaching can maybe get them to have a couple upsets, but I still say the 5 or 6 win team. They'll probably be within the top 12 again in the draft. So I'm going to go under with at least 5 or 6.
I have under.
Yeah, let's see one.
Yeah, I'm going 4 games. I'm going under. I'm going 4 games.
God, Riz is. I already talked to Riz. He'll talk all big and hard, but he says that it's going to be a wash season.
I'm going under. I might have the lowest projection here
this year and next year.
Chris, tell us what you said on the Discord chat. What you're picking to win the division?
Oh yeah, sorry. You can't pick the favorite. Which
you did.
I'm not picking the favorite.
You picking the Packers?
Green Bay won the division.
Oh shit! Let me spell check.
Oh, you can't even fucking spell.
Wow.
Let me go back.
Air Force.
The Green Bay Meat Packers.
Air Force.
It was Packers. It just had 2, I think, K's in there. Well, let's move on to the Green Bay Packers. You know, Chris was teasing it. A team that last year they were a year or two too early, in my opinion. You know, I mean, I didn't have the Packers winning, I think, 5 or 6 games, and they came out slow start, good second half with Jordan Love and some receivers that you would not think he would play good with. And
Packers ain't gonna be shit.
Well, they were 11th on offense and they were 17th on defense. Joe Barry's gone. Like I said, they were 9-8. They beat the living piss out of the Dallas Cowboys in the playoffs. And then they, honestly, I thought outplayed the 49ers in the playoffs, but the 49ers capitalized on the Packers' mistakes. And here we are, boys, year 2 for Jordan Love as a starter. Is it time for Jordan Love to keep progressing with the Green Bay Packers, or do they kind of fall back to the pack? No pun intended.
I mean, I think they progressed. You hit it on the spot, Mark. I mean, last year was pretty much a roller coaster. They started off hot, then October hit. They lost a bunch of games. Thanksgiving came around. They won some games. They lost to the Giants,
Detroit.
The Bucks.
They upset Detroit Thanksgiving.
Yeah, they lost to the Giants, the Bucks. They went off, and then they fucking went off on Dallas in the playoffs. So I mean, I think they're gonna. I think another offseason with Jordan Love being that number 1. I already teased it. I think Green Bay is going to win the division here.
I just don't, man. Like, first off, I don't get what Green Bay, like, the fucking mindset of this goddamn, like, management. Why aren't you bringing weapons in? I get it. Jaden Reed, it looked good last year at times, but Christian Watson's always hurt. Romeo Dobbs is a fucking roller coaster. And I just don't know. Like, okay, you bring Josh Jacobs in. What the fucking do? What are we doing here, Green Bay? Why can't you fucking go get an owner in there? Fuck the people. Let some owner come in and change shit because something's going on. I don't know why. It wasn't just Aaron Rodgers. It's Jordan Love. It's like they're bending their quarterback over and they're saying, hey, fucking figure it out with the guys. We give you some no-name names, essentially. I just don't get it. And I think that's going to be the problem, Chris. They're going to stay, I think, where they're at, 9 wins. I don't think they get better. I don't think they get worse. I think they're just where they're at. They're just an average team at 9 wins.
I mean, what did you expect in an offseason for a team who drafted tight ends back-to-back first and second round last year? I mean, we said the same thing last year. I think they had a very lucky year. Jordan Love played great. The receivers, nobody obviously expected any of that. That's why I think that they take a slight step back this year. I think that it was just a lot of – I'm going to say that. I think it was a lot of luck last year. Jordan Love, I think the roller coaster, I think he kind of has like that down year before he starts to get back into that consistency and figure out the right way to do things. I don't have him taking a huge step back. I don't have him taking a minor step back. I think maybe down to 8 wins this year. Maybe stay at 9, but I definitely don't see him competing for I think it's going to come down between them and the Bears for that wild card spot, but I don't see Green Bay taking it.
I still think they're fortunate last year that I'm telling you, if Kirk Cousins did not, I know it's a game. Yeah. If Kirk Cousins did not get hurt, I think that they kick the Packers out of the playoffs, and therefore, I mean, it's luck. I mean, it's all luck. I mean, sports is sometimes better lucky than good, but.
Well, I think that Jordan Love obviously benefited from sitting. But I also think that the league got more tape on him. And I think that what's going to happen this year is that they're going to take a step back. I think they're going to fumble their way to seven wins. I've got them falling down to 7 wins. I agree with Mark. I don't know what they're planning on doing on their offensive side. Like, what are you doing to try to make it easier for your quarterback? I do like their young weapons, but I don't think that they're healthy by any stretch. Like, these are all guys that are injury prone. They're down the stretch last year. All of those guys were missing games. Jaden Reed, Christian Watson missed a big stretch. He's always missing stretches.
Dobbs the only one that played every game.
Dontavian Wicks, he's also a guy who's getting injured too. So, like, and then you bring in Josh Jacobs, who has been is a slower step than he previously was when he led the league in rushing. And I don't think that he's the answer. I think that Aaron Jones was just as much as what Josh Jacobs is going to bring to the table. Defensively, I think that
McKinney signing was good. Xavier McKinney, that's a solid signing.
That's a solid signing. But this division is going to be tough.
The draft picks in the second round on that defensive side, Bullard and Edger and Cooper, those were solid picks. Edger and Cooper's going to help that rush defense, which sucked. And Bullard's a hell of a safety from Georgia. I mean, so I thought the draft picks, they were good for the defense, but I don't know.
Let's not forget this is a Packers team that lost to the Raiders in Denver last year.
Yeah.
And they didn't really make improvements to convince me they're going to do otherwise this year.
That was early on.
I mean,
that Chris was talking about.
You can lose any game.
Speaking of the Raiders, if the Raiders aren't doing that good, the Packers should legit call the Raiders around the trade deadline and go get Devontae Adams back. Bring him back. Like, go trade for him, man. Bring him with Jordan.
Yeah, I don't see them doing that, but
they should.
I just
go get T. Higgins. Like,
man,
go do something.
I think the game that's really, like, they've got a tough schedule. You're going against, I think, again, the Bears are going to win probably 10, 11, 12 games. They're going to win 10 games probably in their first 12 weeks, 13 weeks or so. And I think that the division is going to be pretty far out for them, for the Packers. Even that wild card is going to be out for them. And so then you've got the Saints. I actually think the Saints are going to be pretty decent this year. I think the Saints are going to be good, and that's a Monday night game on week 16.
Appreciate that.
Look at that plug, Chris. Black and blue. You know what it is, Chris?
I take back that the Patriots are cheaters.
You know what it is?
That's what I'm talking about.
That's what it is.
Hey, Kyrie sucks. Okay, talent.
That's talent. What I'm talking about.
No,
Kyrie's horrible.
Alan saw me attacking the Saints and Patriots together, and he said, "I'm going to stick with my fellow cheaters that win Super Bowls." So we'll stick together.
Hey, at least we know how to cheat and win. Okay, all right.
I will give you that. We suck at cheating.
Pump the noise in here.
Yeah, I'm pretty good at pumping it.
Get an audience for us, okay?
Yeah,
Our problem is we got to make the Super Bowl to cheat.
Yeah.
But no,
I do think the Packers fall back. I think they win 7 games this year. You're going to see a rocky road for Jordan Love. Think teams are going to get. I do think teams got a film on him. They've got an eye for what he can and cannot do, and they're going to try to take those things away. They've got some pretty tough defensive teams that they're playing against. And Thanksgiving game, that's going to be a really good one. I think that's going to be a 30-point game for both teams, but I think Dolphins can take that one.
It's in Green Bay, though, right?
I've got them on like a 5-game losing streak in that time.
I had them upsetting Miami that game.
I think.
As of right now, I mean.
After that bye week, you got Bears, Niners, Dolphins, Lions. Like, that's tough.
That's what I'm saying. I think I got them on like a 4 or 5-game losing streak, but I do have them coming back late with some wins. But early on, I got them like flopping, like every other game, winning, losing.
I have them going 0-2 to start the season.
I have them going like lose, win, lose, win, lose, win, lose, win for like the first 8 or 10 games.
See, I have them going. I have them going loss to Eagles, Colts, win against Titans, Vikings, and then win against Rams. Loss against the Rams, win against Cardinals.
Yep.
Loss against the Texans. They go at the Jaguars, win. I think that they will beat the Lions at home, and then they lose at the Bears. So it's kind of like that middle stretch where they go back. But 2-2 is what I have them starting, and I think the Colts are going to be good, especially Indy, if AR is healthy, which I know we have Kip that
That's
says
a
he
question
is, but
mark.
I have them 4-5 going into the bye week, and then we talked about after the bye week is Bears, Niners, Dolphins, Lions. Like I can see them being 4-5 and then going 4 and sliding and
at
going
Seattle
4-9.
too. At Seattle, and that's Sunday Night Football in Seattle. And Seattle
They have a potential. They have a potential to have a really, really bad season, a really disappointing season coming off of what they did last year with this offense and Jordan Love and what these receivers were able to do.
Still confident, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, this team literally could be my New York
Look at that
Giants.
smile.
from
Look at that
last
smile.
season. This team could be my New York Giants from last year.
New York Football Giants.
Chris did
But,
say
I mean-
Chris had Commanders at over last year too when we did the over under, but then he brought them back when he
What did you have for the Giants last year again?
I had them winning the division.
Oh shit!
So
Well, he had them winning the division, I think, when we did the over under, but I think that switched when you did the actual
The official one?
predictions.
Hey, pull the
I
receipt.
think that switched when we did the mid-season retool. They were like 1-8.
Yeah. Pull the receipts. I don't know,
But
I mean, they have the coach. They have Jordan Love showed that he's a top 10 quarterback. I mean, the offensive line definitely needs help. Hopefully Jordan Morgan pulls in some help. I'm gonna have to disagree with Alan. I think Josh Jacobs is gonna be way better than Aaron Jones was. I think Aaron Jones
he was
lost
hurt
his
a
step.
lot, yeah.
Fucking Dylan showed that he's trash. So I think
He's back,
Josh Jacobs. What?
AJ Dillon resigned with them.
Yeah, he did resign.
Yeah,
with
I
them.
know. He's too busy fucking trying to start his streaming career. He's too busy farming
Hey,
simulator.
Well,
You
hey,
know?
Dillon, if you want to hop on the podcast, we'll take you, man.
Yeah,
We know
we'll
you got
take-
time.
Chris, take that back. We'll take you there.
we'll take him no matter what. We'll get anybody in here with a big name. But no,
take Tory Taylor if I can.
clip it. I think this
Is that
might
the
be
name of the
my New
punter?
York Giants from last season, but I have them going, 11-6? I think they're going to win the division.
Wow.
Whoa, wait. So that's disrespectful to the Lions. You have the Lions falling back too?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're enemies for the year. Sorry, dude.
I have them 10. I have the Lions 10 wins. So I mean, it's close. It's close.
Well, we'll talk about
They
that in a
could-
minute.
They
But
could flip flop.
all right, well, so that over under. I mean, I guess we're all under on the Packers. Chris is the lone one for the second
Again,
team.
here
What's,
we go.
what's the line?
Here we go.
9.5.
Not
No,
yet under.
what I saw was 10.5,
Under.
and that's to me that's another
Oh.
disrespectful thing for the
Well,
Lions.
Mark does
is
his own thing.
that the Lions
No,
and the
I
Packers
got
are both
9.5
at
off
10.5.
MGM. I got 9.5 off MGM's website, Vegas.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, I know. You usually adjust a little bit.
I adjusted on the Bears. I got you because you guys were only 8.5, so I got y'all to
Yeah.
9.5, and then the
Hey,
Lions
that's
were
being
only,
harder for the Bears. Fuck the Bears.
well because you guys have the
Well,
height.
MGM had you guys at 8.5. I put you over under at 12 and a half.
Also, too,
Yeah,
like
I have the
he
Bears
said-
at 12.
But they had the Lions at
12 over
10.5.
under.
They had the Lions at 10.5,
Yeah.
and that was disrespectful because all of the other 4 teams that made it to the Final Four were at 11.5. Chiefs, Ravens, and the Niners are all 11.5. Why the Lions didn't lose anybody. They actually brought in pieces. They got better on the defensive side. Like I just don't understand why the Lions dropped down. And the only thing I can think of is because they think that the Packers are going to have that season. And they obviously the Bears are going to steal a couple of games. I think that's what Vegas is saying. But I think that was disrespectful to them.
Let's talk about Motor City. The Detroit Lions. Let's move on to
it.
them. A team that in the 3 years with Dan Campbell, they went from believe 3 either 3-14 or 4-13. They went to 9-8 year 2, kicked the Packers and Aaron Rodgers out of the playoffs. That was Aaron Rodgers' last game, by the way, losing to Detroit Lions in Lambeau Field, and they went to 12-5 last year. So they've had a steady growth under Dan Campbell, and they locked in Jared Goff for the future. I don't know. I think Amon-Ra St. Brown's got paid as well. So now you have your core with Jared Goff, St. Brown, Laporta, Jahmyr Gibbs. Montgomery will be in there as well. He'll still be featured, but still, it sounds like it's going to Jahmyr Gibbs. So can the Detroit Lions continue to grow what they have started with Dan Campbell, or was it truly just a one-year wonder for Motor City?
Here's my hardest part on deciding, because Jared Goff is like a flip of the coin on which Goff you're going to get there for the year.
He's been
we
solid
saw-
with Detroit. Solid with Detroit.
He
though,
was,
for years.
you know what? They were saying the same shit in LA when he was solid with LA for a couple of years.
But they're not babysitting him. They don't have handcuffs on him. Ben Johnson is not doing what and I love Sean McVay, but Ben Johnson is not doing to Jared Goff that what Sean McVay did to him. And
I agree. I'm just saying that we don't know that that's why he was struggling, why he started struggling in LA. All right, but we've seen the spiral before. The weapons are solid on this team.
Well, outside the receivers, though,
Listen,
outside
The big
outside
thing
that-
for me is the defense. First of all, two things. The big thing for me is the defense first and foremost, and then Dan Campbell's play calling.
Can any other receiver outside St. Brown though? Can Raymond or Jameson? Can
Jameson Williams
finally
is
step
going.
up?
Hot
Can he
take. Hot take. Jameson Williams is going to have a career year. I know he hasn't had a great one, but he's going to have a
His
phenomenal
career is
year.
like 400
career?
yards.
No,
dude.
he's
Yeah,
gonna
his
have a
career.
phenomenal year.
not
Jameson
hard.
career would
Williams
be going
might
out.
lead the NFL in touchdowns. That's how good he's going to be this year.
I don't
Have
know
you
about leading
seen
the league,
clips of-
but
Have you seen clips
All
of
right,
him right
I'm gonna
now?
head out.
This man is out here. He's balling. I think that they're going to give him some real. He's on a mission
He's
right
out here
now.
balling against what? Ghosts? No one's defending
Listen,
him.
I
There's
really
no
do.
one- They're not covering
really
anyone.
think
I don't
he's
know
gonna be
about-
making some plays.
I don't know about leading the league in touchdowns. Now, maybe he does have a career year. Like, does he go get 800 yards, 900 yards, and be the receiver 2 with maybe 7-8 touchdowns? That's a good year. Don't get me wrong. That's a hell of a year for number 2.
I think he has double-digit touchdowns. Maybe
You gotta remember,
10 or 11.
You got to remember he's the 4th option. That's the thing, because you have Laporta.
He's stepping up. I don't think
And Laporta might claim his fame to be the best tight end in football in year 2. He might surpass George Kittle and Travis Kelce.
That's
and
what
those
I'm
guys.
saying. This offensive line is still very good. These weapons are still very good. This defense got better. Like, I just don't see the downturn on this team. And
There
I
you
think
go,
that
Alan.
what's going to happen is that these
There
two
you go.
teams, the Bears and the Lions, are going to be either tied or like one game difference going into week 13 Thanksgiving, where they play each other on Thanksgiving. And I think what's going to happen is Lions are going to start at the end of the year. The Lions make that turn and the Bears fall back a little bit. And that's why the Lions end up winning the division. But the Bears are right there at 11 or 12 wins.
And this is what the Detroit
The Bears
Lions
are
added
winning
on.
that game.
This is what Detroit Lions added on defense, boys. DJ Reader, fucking stud out of the Bengals. They added Carlton Davis from the Bucks. They traded for him. That's a hell of a corner. He's going to be the lead guy. And then you draft Taron Arnold, who they traded up for, who is a physical corner and was the best corner most of the time. Or, I mean, he took over Kool-Aid's spot, essentially was the best corner on Alabama. And then you go get Rakeshaw, who had some injuries at Missouri, but a hell of a corner as well there. And I love the Wingo pick. Chris will tell you about Wingo. I love the Wingo pick in the 6th round. He is going to eventually be the guy that is going to be on that defensive line, eating up snaps, and he's going to be a fucking problem on the D-line. And Aiden Hutchinson, you're talking career year. Aiden Hutchinson's going to have a great career year.
Oh,
he's
yeah,
going to go for 15, 16
That
sacks
guy's
this year.
crazy. That guy is crazy good. We're going to just see it. And again, I don't understand the disrespect that they're getting from Vegas. Once again, I think that this is going to be probably a 10-win team going into week 13. And that week 13 game is going to start the downturn for the Bears. Lions are going to kick it up a notch. They do have Bills and Niners in their last 4 games, but I think that they can beat the Bills. I think they can beat the Bills, and maybe they lose against the Niners, but I think they already have the NFC wrapped up.
They beat the Niners, and that's what wraps up the NFC. That's the game.
I know you called that. I know you've called that one, but I don't think that it's even going to matter at that point because I think that they're going to already be ahead.
I'm telling you right now, this is my bold take. I know Chris has the Lions coming back. I have the Detroit Lions hosting the NFC party. The division or the conference for the NFC is going to go through Motor City. It's going to go through Ford Field. It's going to go through Dan Campbell, who you run through a wall for, by the way. And the Detroit Lions will be the best team in the regular season for the NFC conference.
I agree that they're going to have the best record in the NFC. I think they're going to win the NFC.
And Alan a couple weeks ago was talking about how Detroit was going to fall back a little bit. He does some research now.
Yeah, I did a little bit of research. I love what they did in the draft. I love that they went out and targeted and got the pieces on their biggest weakness. Their biggest weakness last year was their cornerbacks, and they went out and, like you said, they got Carlton Davis. They went out and got Arnold. Their DJ Reader coming over from the Bengals. That's a really great move. Like
Brian Branch is a fucking stud as well. I mean, we saw a rookie year stud, and Jack Campbell might. Chris loves Jack Campbell. Maybe he takes that step. He had a little bit of a roller coaster rookie year. Maybe he takes that step as a linebacker, Chris.
Maybe. I mean, yeah, they definitely addressed all the needs on the defensive side. They had one of the worst pass defenses in the NFL last year. That's how teams murdered them. And they went out. They signed Carlton Davis. Taron Arnold was the number 1 cornerback in the draft, and he somehow just fell into their arms, which I'm sure they were very happy about.
Yeah.
And and they were 12-5 last year. I mean, and they had the second best rush defense. I mean, I don't know. I mean, and the line, yeah, they lost a lineman, but then they went and got a fucking Pro Bowler from the Ravens. Like, I mean, they went and got a fucking great guard from the Baltimore Ravens. Like,
I think that they win the NFC at 13-4, 14-3. I'm going over on their over-under. I just see it.
If the Falcons don't win, I mean, I don't have us going to the Super Bowl, but I mean, if my team doesn't go, the Detroit Lions are my NFC representatives. And they were a half away from being in the Super Bowl last year against the Chiefs. They were up 17 points at halftime, and they gagged it away. I will be honest, they gagged it away. But that's the first time that the Lions have had that much pressure. They beat the Rams in the revenge game with Stafford and Goff, and then they go in and beat Tampa, beat up on Baker, and then they got outplayed in the second half, but they had the Niners on the ropes in San Francisco.
They did, and I think the difference will be this year is that they're going to play in Detroit in the playoffs, and that's going to help them.
Well, my biggest question mark was always the defense for this team last year. I talked about it several times. Aiden Hutchinson is an absolute monster, but it was Swiss cheese out there in the secondary. A lot of games. I remember the one they fumbled against. They dropped the bag against Seattle. That was an easy game. The Dallas game obviously was a very good, very close game. That was a decision making that I thought that was a poor decision to be made. I get risking it, but still, why? But the biggest thing that I saw last year, like I said, was the defense. They made a lot of moves. So now we're going to see how this team can come out and play with that, how the coaching staff's going to do with a better defense, see if they can, kind of tighten it up and get everybody on the same page. Offensively, a lot of good weapons, a good all-around offense, I think, at every position. But I think the receiver still lacks a little bit of depth. And I think that that's something that they need to fix. James Williams, I don't think is going to be a star this year. Amon-Ra St. Brown just got the extension. Sam Laporta is going to be great. That running back duo, I think, is the best 1-2 punch in the NFL, hands down. And Jahmyr Gibbs is a phenomenal receiving back out of the backfield.
He's insane. He's so good.
And they're already talking about he's getting the bulk too, Doc. That's the thing.
No, I don't want to talk about that because
hey, thanks, Jones.
Dave Montgomery.
Thanks, Jones. I'm in Dynasty.
But no, I think that the other concern, which wasn't as big last year because Goff was putting up the numbers, and we'll see if he does it again this year. But their receiving core, they don't have like a bona fide number two to come up and step up. There were a lot of blunders last year on the receiving core. A lot of guys out of position, dropping. That was another big one last year. Was easy drops that we saw in clutch situations for Detroit.
Niners game, they had 2 drops.
Yeah,
I just
moving the chains, late game situations, a lot of issues on the receiving core. So I think that's where they need to step up. I think that they should have gone out and made a splash at wide receiver. But
maybe they do.
I think they should have made a move. I think they should have made a move for T. Higgins.
I think that
I don't think they can afford both. That's the problem.
I don't think they could. Jameson Williams is going to fill it.
Yeah, I don't know their payroll right now.
And maybe they go get Cortland Sutton. Maybe they go get him when the Broncos are selling still. I mean, if the Broncos aren't hitting, maybe they go get Sutton to be number 2 along with St. Brown. I mean, there are names out there that you can go snag. I mean, maybe the Seahawks move on from Lockett, and Lockett is just there for the second half of the season. I think Lockett could be a decent guy. I know he's not the same Tyler Lockett he once was, but guys like that, all you do is just pair with St. Brown. You'll be the 4th option anyways. I mean,
Jackson is the number 3 that can easily step up. He took a huge step forward last year, huge leap in his production last year. So Jackson Smith and Jigba could definitely come in and take over that number 2 role for Tyler Lockett very easily.
Yeah, it's just I think the Detroit Lions, they're going to hit on their over, which is I bumped it up to 11.5. I think that they're a 13-win team. I think 12 wins is the worst case they're going to get. I have them anywhere from 12 to 14 on wins, and I easily have the over. I said this is home field for the NFC is going through Detroit. Crazy to say. Never in my life would I have ever pictured that coming out of my mouth. But the Detroit Lions, man, there's something in the water, and it's not fucking Flint water. It's good water.
Well, we talked about the energy that D'Amico Ryans brought to the Texans, and Dan Campbell literally is the exact same thing. He's brought energy to that team. He's brought a identity, and it took a couple of years, but we saw it last year. I don't think this team is in any position to take any step back. I think they're going to be right there at the top of the NFC. We're going to be talking about this team as it's the best team in the NFL.
Yeah,
Chris,
I'm
what do they
taking
eat?
the.
What do the Lions eat? What does Dan Campbell say the Lions eat?
Kneecaps.
Kneecaps. I don't hear Matt LaFleur saying
Is this
that.
another-
So.
This is another
You can't
bounty
eat
gate
kneecaps.
situation.
Yeah, no, you can't eat kneecaps.
Well, they're not paying. Well, they're not paying their players to eat them. They're just eating them.
Oh, okay.
There's
They're
either-
just,
they-
they're
they
just
just
doing it out of
want to.
goodness of their heart.
Yeah,
They're
They
just
just
hungry.
they just want to because Dan Campbell said go get them.
That's
Okay.
true morale.
I
Dan
just want to
Campbell
make sure. I just want to make
Dan
sure.
Campbell brought morale just by stepping in and getting all juiced up.
I don't want another bounty
Dan-
gate situation.
Listen, Dan Campbell also says score a touchdown on 4th down or get a first down, and they don't do that. So
Hey, according to Sheldon Cooper
Right.
from Big Bang Theory and young Sheldon, the analytics say pretty much go for it every time. Stats say it. Dan Campbell
I
watches Big Bang Theory.
am also going to take the over, but not by much. At 11.5, I'm going to take him at 12. I kind of have a toss-up between 11 and 12. There's a couple of games that I think can be, can be decided late game or a number of factors that go into it. But I have a couple of toss-ups there, but I'll take him at 12. I'll put some respect on it. I got him at the division at 12. I got the Bears not far behind. Packers in 3rd. Vikings. Sorry, Riz. Vikings suck, dude. I don't know what to tell you. They're dog
Yeah,
shit. Honestly, though, I could see all 4 teams finishing with, especially with the schedule for all 4 of these teams. Lions have the toughest, obviously, but I could see all 4 of these teams finishing above 500.
I have them starting 7-0.
I don't think they will.
I have them starting 7-0 and they go on a 2-game skid and then they wake the fuck up after they lose to the Packers and Texans, both on the road. And then they wake up and then they finish like 13-4 or whatever. Probably lose at Bears. I think that'll be another one. Actually, I have them at 14-3. Maybe
I actually have them
13-4
flopping.
to the Colts, but
I have the Bears winning the Thanksgiving game in Detroit because historically that's what happens. And then I have the Lions winning it in Chicago. I have them splitting though.
that Chicago game's gonna be freezing though, man. That's the problem. I think that December weather is gonna get to golf, and I think
but they're in Detroit, dude. They don't play outside, but he's not.
they don't practice outside. I tell you that they don't
That's
practice
true.
outside.
Well, they will that week. They will to prepare for that one.
Yeah,
especially if they got Green Bay around that.
That's
Yeah,
that's their only cold weather game too. All the other away game in December is at San Francisco, not bad, and they're at Indy in late November. So the only cold weather game they got is at Chicago.
Yeah, I have the Lions losing to the Cowboys and losing to the Texans. I think that they go into week 13 10-2.
I have them beating Dallas, man.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry.
I have them. I'm losing to
Wins,
Dallas,
wins.
losing on the road to Minnesota, and then losing to the Texans. I'm sorry, not Minnesota. Losing on the road to the Packers and losing on the road to the Texans. I have 3 losses going into it.
I do think that Packers game is a toss-up. I think that they're the better team, but I do think that the Packers are sliding this year. So I have the Packers losing at the end of that game, but I do think it's a toss-up. So they could be 9-3 going into that Week 13 game, but I still think that they're going to win 9-10 games before then, and then their late game stretches are they're going to take those games, and that's what's going to propel them to the top of the NFC.
I don't think the Packers are a better team. I just think that the variable is on the road at Lambeau Field.
Yeah,
that's exactly why I have them splitting with the Packers at Lambeau, and then I think Houston's gonna be good too. So that's why I have them going 2-game skid.
Yep,
Chris. Well, I know you said under, but give us that reason, man.
10 wins. I think they just step back a little bit. I think they did bolster the defense, but you're depending a lot on rookies. So
It worked last year for him.
Yeah, it did. Is Laporta going to have another phenomenal year again?
Damn right. You know why?
A little bit.
yeah, I think he
he's
is.
going to shit the bed.
He's an Iowa farm boy. Come on, dude.
Tearing an ACL.
Hey, we know there's a couple
I
things.
don't know about injury, but I think he just steps back just a little bit.
We know a couple things. LSU produces good wide receivers. Iowa produces good tight ends and good linemen.
Very true. Very
Mark
true.
knows about
good-
tight ends from Iowa.
Yeah, but you know what? To
good
me,
runners,
honestly, outside of Taron Arnold, what rookies are they depending on? because all of their rookies played last year, and they're going to be better this year. At least in my opinion, they're going to be better.
Rakeshaw's going to get playing time, but he's not. So Rakeshaw's going to get playing time, but he's not the starter. He's behind Branch.
Yeah, so I don't know what rookies that they're going to be starting other than Arnold.
I mean,
according to the team depth chart I have here, the only rookie that they have starting is Taron Arnold, and then on offense they don't have anybody starting. And the offensive lineman they got was Kevin Zeitler from the Ravens. So they just paid Sewell, highest paid right tackle in the league. He's a dog. Decker's a dog. Glasgow is a dog. But like I said, Raymond and Williams, that's the keys. But they're the fourth option. I mean, they might even be the fifth because Montgomery's going to get some playing time too. Yeah, Chris. Chris, I don't know about the rookies. It just looks like Rakestraw will play. It's Rakestraw. He's going to play. It's just he's not going to be a starter.
Might be my New York Giants. You never know.
Well, this would be like a team that you had. I don't know if you had fallen off last year, but that's who it would be.
It's also New York Giants. This ain't a wild take for saying 10 or 11 wins.
Cool.
Yeah, there's
Chris had them that. Yeah. Well, wild card team. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
My Bears prediction last year was your last year New York Giants.
I think Luke and Doc had the Bears winning the division last year.
I don't want to talk about it. We're not. The season's over, dude. We're on 2024.
I'm glad I knocked you guys down from 10. I knocked you guys down from 10 to 9 just to get the Falcons at 10, and then both teams finished at 7 and 10. So like,
we ain't talking about last year.
No, yeah, we're not. We're not. And so, great episode, boys. Like I said, it was a fun division to talk about. I think the three teams, Minnesota, I mean, maybe they could make a surprise.
There's only 3 teams in this division this year.
Yeah, I agree. But next week, Chris's last episode for a handful of weeks. Not sure how long Alan's got left, he said, but
next week is it for me too. So I'm definitely going to be on.
So whoever listens to this on Spotify, Apple, and whoever goes back, people will still go back and watch it on YouTube. This will be the farewell episode for Chris and Alan next week. We'll have to get all of us on there and just have like a good 6-man episode if we can make it work. But it's the NFC South, Chris. It's our division. It's the Saints, Falcons, Bucks, and the other team from Carolina. So
the most competitive division.
I can't wait to shit on the Falcons.
That's fine.
Yeah, so the same most competitive division when they're all dog shit.
My cousin was I was on the phone. My cousin Alan.
Though. They're competitive.
That's true. That's what I'm saying. No, I agree with you.
Division is competitive.
Yeah, Josie, by the way, everybody in the NFC North has 3 bye weeks this year.
They play the Vikings.
The who?
The Vikings.
That one's for Riz.
But Alan, what I was going to say was on the way back from Maryland, I was talking to my cousin. He's a big Dolphins fan. He was trying to do the same thing. He was trying to shit on the Falcons, and he was just trying to make some shit up. And then we go by the schedule, and he was like, "Holy shit, your schedule is not that hard." I was like, "It's really not that. It's so easy. Like I see 12 wins because it's not. It's just not challenging. I don't know what it is. The teams that we played, I don't think got better. A lot of them got worse. And
I see a QB controversy coming.
That's fine. I don't care what you. Hey, if Penix balls out and Kirk sucks and we bring Penix in, he fucking plays good. I don't care at this point. Whoever wants to be the best quarterback on the team, I don't give a shit.
What did Kirk get? 2 years? 2 years guaranteed?
It's 2 years fully guaranteed. I think the third year is slightly guaranteed still. It's like the dead cap is a little higher that third year than the fourth.
He ain't sitting the first 2 years. He ain't paying a dude $50 million to sit on the bench.
If he gets hurt and Penix comes in and Penix balls
he
out,
gets hurt. That's different.
I don't know. I think it's going to happen. I think he's going to get hurt. I mean, how many guys are going to come back from Achilles at that age? Kirk Cousins is not. Kirk Cousins is not Aaron Rodgers. Kirk Cousins is not a supreme athlete. Dude. I don't know, man.
Cousins is nice.
Okay, hold up.
He's a family.
Hold up. You're gonna sit here. You're gonna sit here and say
just because he's
Aaron
a family
Rodgers,
man doesn't mean that he's gonna come back from an Achilles.
He's a good man. That is good man.
He's a good man, dude.
Listen, you're gonna say
brought his wife back home to Atlanta. Like that's a good guy right there. Okay.
Okay.
He's a
so Aaron Rodgers is a freak athlete that's gonna come back from an Achilles, but Kirk Cousins is not.
I also said that Aaron Rodgers wasn't going to be.
Yeah, okay. Because I was going to say they're both running a 40 in 4 flat, and that's 4 minutes. Okay.
I
right.
said the same thing about Aaron.
I missed that part because neither are freak athletes. I mean, they're both great throwers. Neither are freak athletes.
Doc, Aaron Rodgers is your daddy, okay?
First
Don't
off,
fucking disrespect him.
Aaron Rodgers is pretty.
Yeah, well, that daddy went for milk and cigarettes, all right, and he ain't coming back.
Aaron Rodgers is actually.
Wait, he's playing the division except for the goddamn Bears. Okay, remember that.
Aaron Rodgers is
milk
pretty.
and cigarettes.
Aaron Rodgers was pretty mobile back in his Green Bay days. I know he wasn't like Mike Vick in them, but it was not that bad.
He had some spark early on, but not the last couple years. Like Danica Patrick years, maybe, but not after.
When you're a good thrower of the football like him, you shouldn't be running the ball. You should be fucking just slinging it from the pocket.
That's why Lamar runs so much, because he's not a good thrower of the football. But also, Aaron Rodgers has always had pass protection.
Clip that one. That'll get some good hits.
I might clip that one and then another one. We'll have two that we post.
I'm just. What did you say? If you're a good thrower of the football, you're not running that much.
Doc, it's game time. Do a little rant real quick for Lamar. Give us some hits.
Dude, I mean, what is there to be said that hasn't been said? I'll repeat the usual, in that Lamar Jackson is dog shit. He is the least deserving of an MVP award that I think I've ever seen in my life from any sport. Okay. My 6-year-old with one leg got an MVP award in his T-ball division, was more deserving than Lamar Jackson in the National Football League. Okay. This guy is a terrible quarterback, and is why they lost the playoffs. The Chiefs made him play like a quarterback. All right. And he shit the bed. And this is what happens when you're an RB1 trying to look out there like a star, running the Wildcat, trying to look good. You're not good. Sit down. Shut up. That's what it looked like out there.
We might have 3 clips now. We might have that one, the Aaron Rodgers one with Lamar, and then whatever one. I think there was the Bears one or the Packers, or the Vikings, whichever one it was. But man, great episode, boys. Doc, good to always have you on. That can't wait for the football season this year.
It's like Colin Cowherd or Lamar. You're going to get one or the other every week. You're getting one of them.
And then where's your plug? Fuck Colin Cowherd. We're waiting for that.
Fuck Colin Cowherd. He's dog shit.
There we go.
That's my last. Yep.
That's allegedly Colin Cowherd. Your dog
allegedly.
shit.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
I can have an
on the
opinion.
podcast.
What? Oh, you know what? You're right. I love Colin Cowherd. Let's get him on. I would love to have him on.
Crystal has Antonio Brown Insider on his handle.
Is he the worst sports broadcaster, radio host in the last 10 years?
I don't think his personality is not bad. He just does not know what the fuck he's talking about. I don't know what his writers are doing. He has no idea what he's talking about.
His personality is bad. I hate the Saints, but after that fucking missed pass interference call, the fucking asshole shit he said afterwards, where he came on air because they're in LA. He's like, oh, man, us LA folks, if that happened to us, we wouldn't care, because that's all the working class has in New Orleans is football. We have the beach. We have everything. So we wouldn't care if that happened to us. We're just better than New Orleans, pretty much. Like I was like, dude. And he's from a working class family in Washington State. It was just a fucking shit thing to say. Like,
dude, he also said Sam Darnold was going to be the greatest quarterback to come out of the draft. And how many, he's terrible. He's absolutely just I would love for him to come on and debate me.
Well, Skip had a worse one. He had Johnny Manziel being the biggest thing in Cleveland and going to overtake LeBron James.
Well,
Skip's
everybody.
No. He said
everybody. Not everybody.
He said no. He said overtaking LeBron James in the city of Cleveland. That's what he said. That was the thing he said.
I still respect that a lot more than what he said about Sam Darnold, because he was a fucking family friend.
No athlete, probably our lifetime.
I'm not saying it's going to happen. No, I agree. It's not going to happen. But I respect that notion, that opinion, a lot more than the hype that he was putting on Sam Darnold. He is the reason why Sam Darnold got drafted where he did.
Well, Sam Darnold's play in USC also had some stuff to do with that, too.
Sam Darnold's dog shit. Colin Cowherd's dog shit. His opinion's dog shit.
Well, anyways, let's sign off, boys. We had a great episode. NFC South next week, tomorrow night. I don't know if we're recording. I know Jake wants to go live for Game 3, so we're going to figure out if we're going live and doing an episode tomorrow, or if we're just going to go just straight live for Game 3.
I might bet on the game tomorrow.
What was that?
I might bet on the game tomorrow.
Well, the game's Wednesday.
Oh,
that's what I said. That's what I said.
Yeah.
You cash the Mavs.
Yeah.
I think down 2-0. I think the Mavs have to win one.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the series doesn't start really until the road team wins. So if they keep doing their job, then we'll have it back in game 5, 2-2. I mean, we'll see. I know Alan has stuff to say about that whenever we go live or record. He's pretty hot last night.
Never count out the Corgi. All right, the Corgi always calls it right. The Corgi had the Mavs winning.
I want to see his percentage.
He's pretty crazy over the last couple of years. I think he's predicted the last 3 champions.
But the NBA's rigged. You said it yourself. So we going with Adam Silver, or are we going?
NBA is not rigged. They would have been giving it to LeBron James.
Yeah, maybe it was the Corgi. Maybe the Corgi is actually the one that's
the NBA
it.
rigs it off the Corgi.
Exactly.
There you go, Chris. I like that. Hey, Chris, your basketball takes tonight or today were pretty good, man.
I appreciate
I think
it.
you're the basketball guy now.
Thank you.
Proud of you.
Thank you.
No, he took it back. He took it back. He took it back earlier.
I took back one. I took back one.
I missed the take back. So
Doc. We know you're good for like one day of texting, and Mondays is not it for you.
Dude, yeah. No,
it's like a Wednesday, Thursday thing for you. Wednesday, Thursday, Tuesday, Thursday, bitches. You know that's where you're at.
No, didn't I say Monday, Thursday?
Yeah, I think it was something like that.
I gotta watch the video. I got the video somewhere.
No, but great night, boys.
Box, but that's all right.
Let's sign off. Hey, shout out to you, Doc. Shout out to you, Chris and Alan. Next week's gonna be a sad week. Well, sad for you, Alan. You will be back. You'll be gone for the football season. Chris will be back eventually, but
I'll be happy.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding, Alan. I'm just kidding, dude.
Don't worry, I'll sign on. I'll sign on for at least 1 or 2, just to jump in and have a few conversations. With
dude, you better.
In the desert.
Then
I'll get you on a FaceTime or something. I don't care, bro. You're gonna be on
3 in the morning. 3 in the morning, Alan's time. He's recording. All of a sudden, you hear a fucking grenade or a gunshot go off, and then time to go. We'll see you later, Alan. Time to go to work.
No, you're just gonna hear the tent door slam over and over and over again. People going in and out.
He's gonna go tell He'll tell us, Sergeant, hey, I got fucking 45 minutes on. We still got to do a 45-minute episode. And they're covering them. They're watching us.
Exactly. Yeah.
No, but great episode, boys. We can't wait to be back here again. We'll see y'all later and have a good night, guys. We are